Spurs Kings TV. It's Tuesday. You know what time it is. It's time for Ashmatic Analysis. Ash, how you been, my brother?
You know what? I'll be dead real, bro. I've had a wicked Easter, man. I'll be 100% real. I didn't watch no Tottenham. I went out Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Jeez, listen. Concerts, you name it, I was there. People might have bumped into me. Big up to all the people that said hello. Yeah, man. Easter was going on. But yeah, man, I'm blessed, man.
See how you said raving and going out, and there's me doing the dad thing and being at home, yeah? Thanks, Ash.
Listen, I live life, innit? Yeah, man.
look, look, Spurs have had an epic week, and I thought, you know what, after Thursday it was going to be tough tonight, but they go and give us a story each time. But it's not about us, as we always say. It's about our panelists. Should we get them out?
Yeah, man. Bring him out. Bring him.
Right. First of all, I'll bring out the guy who's not really making a debut. He's been on this channel for a while. He's hit and miss, but you know we gave him his fame about what 2-3 years ago now. That's how long it's coming on since he first appeared on Spurs Kings, and we were a view from the south that stand. But a big welcome, Jay. You well?
What's happening, guys?
Good.
Well, yeah, it's good to be here and made it just in time this time.
Nice.
But yeah.
Okay. Now we've got two debutants, right, Ash?
Yeah, man. We've got brand new.
Two debutants. So first of all, let's give a big round of applause to the man, the legend, the myth, Billy T. Are you well?
Hello, guys. Yeah, thank you very much for having me. All good, thank you. How you guys doing?
All good, man.
All good, all good. We're going to have to talk about Spurs in a minute, so... but let's get nasty. And another debutant tonight, the Queen. A bit of a... I think her man's playing. Is he playing tonight? I don't think he's on the pitch yet, but she still loves Spurs more than him, I hope. But let's give her another round of applause. Christina, are you well?
At this moment, I think I love Jack Grealish more than Tottenham right now.
So, look, all of you obviously a big part change for Tottenham, but we'll talk about that later because we want you to talk about Spurs first and everything that's going on. But Ash,
yes,
Frankfurt,
yes,
then Forest.
All right. So,
explain.
Look, the way I saw it, I'll be real. I felt like the man them got together. I said, you know what? Forget what Ange said. We need to do our own thing. Like, we need to win this game because I did not see Ange for one bit. I'll be dead real. Them man sat back. They rallied. They were actually playing for the badge. You could see it. They were putting in those tackles, the extra 10% or whatever it is you want to call it. That's what I was seeing on the pitch. The passion, the energy, even down to the celebrations afterwards. So I don't know if it was the players that got together and they said, yeah, you know what, we're doing our own thing. Because, you know, Ange doesn't like to go into the actual dressing room. He said, that's their space. Do you know what I mean? That's one thing we can say. He goes, that's their space. That's what they do. Then I'm like, was it the coaches that said, yeah, you know what? I reckon we should do this. Because I think with Frankfurt, they were expecting us to dominate the ball. Because that's what we normally do. But we said, let them have the ball. Let them figure it out. Because they're not really a possession-based team. They're more of a counter-attacking team. So for me, I was like, yeah, fair play. We did well on the night. I think over the 2 legs with a better team. Got the pen. Don put it away under pressure. And I'm not going to take that away from him because it's a lot of pressure riding on his back. He did what he had to do. Fast forward quickly to Forest. Don't want to take up too much time. It was like the complete opposite. Brother, you can't make this right. Listen, make it make sense. All right, so we did the whole 60% thing like what we normally do. We were creating chances, whatnot. I don't know. With Forest, did they go back to gear one after they scored the 2 quick goals and said, yeah, you know what, let them have it? The reason why I say that real quick is because when I was watching Manchester United versus Forest, it was exactly the same. Exactly the same. Difference was they won 1-0, innit? But you looked at it, you're like, oh, yeah, maybe, man, you played all right. You know, maybe they're not. Blam! They lost the game. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with us.
they did the same against, like, and this is what a lot of people didn't realise. They did the same thing against Liverpool at the beginning of the season when they beat them 1-0. If you go look at the stats, they're very similar to what they were yesterday.
And that's what I've got to say, bro. Over to the guests. No.
Billy, I'm going to bring you in. So obviously Thursday was the big uplift, but yesterday was a bit like, here we go again. What was your reaction to the past week?
I just want to apologise first of all to the person that bought my ticket on the exchange on Sunday night. I'm sorry for ruining your bank holiday weekend, man.
That's their issue.
Mate, I'm so glad that I sold my ticket in the end to that, because that was a disgrace. And like the come down from Frankfurt was crazy, because like we were so good against Frankfurt, and it's everything that we've been missing this season. We saw on Thursday the fight, the desire, and the spirit. And a few days later, we didn't turn up, and it was shocking. So yeah, it's been that weird duality of the season. But I thought last night was really poor.
Christina, on to you. How did you find it?
I literally don't even know what to say anymore. It's so ridiculous talking about Tottenham. I can't believe that I support this club. It's just it's such an abysmal right now. I find it so depressing. I just can't get over the comments afterwards as well. Like apparently, like, oh, we're playing good football. Playing good football where? Like all of
Outstanding, he
these.
said. He said we were outstanding.
Yeah, outstanding.
Where? Am I completely watching the wrong game and all of these mistakes? Like, this is the fit. Another, we're letting ourselves down massively with these huge mistakes. I mean, I'm sure we're going to go into more detail with it, like Vicario, but I don't know where it's all coming from. The mentality of this club has just gone absolutely wild. And of course, now with the comments as well, again, we're going to talk about it, like with Romero. I mean, that just says it all. What the hell are these players doing? What the hell is this manager doing? What the hell is this chairman doing? I don't know. It's just absolutely mind blowing how us lot are all still here talking about this club, because I don't know how we're going to survive, honestly. But yeah, it's just a massive, huge letdown once again, and it's just not a surprise.
Jay, I'll bring you in on it as well. Like, how have you seen the last week or in the life of Spurs?
You look at Thursday, yeah, and you go, he's tactically adjusted to the game that's in front of him. You look at it, we knew we had to close the game out, so he takes after two holding midfielders, brings on a centre back and another holding mid. And you think, Jesus, you know what? Maybe finally is he starting to look at what he's doing wrong. And then you go and look at last night's game, and I'm seeing, he coached a 3-0 win. And if you look at stats mean nothing. And if you want to go into stats, I put a tweet out yesterday regarding all of the stats that he has broken, and not to just like touch on it, but this is now officially the most losses Spurs have ever had at home, ever, period. It says what you need to know, and I need to be careful what I say on him because I got last night. I've seen before when I've done it with Son how quickly I can get pelters and I can be proved wrong. So for me, I say I don't care about the league. Gets to this weekend's game against Liverpool, I think we'll win it. I'll get angry. But the main focus is purely on Bodo for me.
So, talk to me. What? Look, obviously, mistakes. We're talking about mistakes again from individuals, and as Christina said, Vicario comes up again. And now, me and you had a bit of a we've had a bit of an argument about which goalkeeper should be in goal. Now, who's more justified now? Is it me or you? Or are we still a bit on the fence with it?
You'd rather have Kingsky in goal? Is that what you're telling me?
No, do you know what? I was thinking about it, and I was like,
I don't know, man.
He put that was it. The first shot that hits Romero and goes in. Kingsky lets that one in too.
Yeah, exactly.
But he catches the second. He comes out for it and claims it.
I hear it. I hear the whole catching thing, but I don't know. The keeper's young. I still think it was a signing to kind of appease the fans. Obviously, we were in dire straits at the time and we kind of brought it in. I don't really know. Like, because look, I could say Austin catches as well. How about that? How you like me now? So I'm like, Vicario, man, he's just moving crazy, right? Every time it goes in the box, those centre-backs must worry. They must be so nervous. Because Van der Ven, he's not really like, in the air, he's not much of a presence. And I even think that second goal, he's got to be a bit more touch tight. Do you understand? Because Woods had a free header, he's jumped up, and there's no physicality, no nothing with him. He's just literally jumped unmatched, unattended, got the header, and then obviously Vicario's decided to rush out because the centre backs aren't dealing with it. So as he tried to rush out and catch or punch or whatever he was trying to do, it was too late. He was in two minds. So that's how I saw the goal. And also, you have to look at the defence for going to sleep as well. But no one's gone out to close the crossing from Malanga. That needs to be shut down ASAP. So there's so many other things before that defensively. I feel like we just focus on in possession, but when it comes to out possession and set pieces, there's not much work done because the last few games we've seen it edge of the box, Wolves edge of the box. Like it's becoming an ugly pattern again. So yeah, man, I don't know. Vicario, Kingsley, they've got their strengths, but they've got their weaknesses. That's how I see it, bro.
Billy, is this down to Anthony's tactics to why we're seeing such a weakness in the squad and when it comes to certain? Look, obviously, set pieces has been a problem since day one. Vicario hasn't been able to catch since day dot. We did miss him for a few months. He come back. We thought he was a new goalkeeper, but yet again, he's showing his vulnerabilities that we all had the issue with before he got injured.
I think Vicario is playing like he was raving with Ash at the weekend because he had an absolute shocker. Like 4-3 goal, and we were lucky that one goal got disallowed as well. I don't know if you guys saw Will Steele. Did you see Will Steele after the game?
Yeah.
He was doing some coverage of the game afterwards, and he was like, he did a freeze frame of when the cross came in, and every single one of our defenders is ball watching, and that's the kind of I teach primary school kids. That's the kind of thing that I teach them, about ball watching and stuff. It's just really basic errors, and like, if it's a one-off game, but we've been seeing this for 2 years now under this manager. Like, there seems to be no emphasis on defense. And if you want to see the opposite of what that could look like, if you watch like Sells and Nottingham Forest, that's a team that are coached defensively, like to within an inch of their lives. Like, they're so strong. And I think if you give Nuno a 1-goal lead, you're in trouble. But a 2-goal lead for Nuno, you're never getting that back, I don't think. So I just think it's the same basic errors we've been seeing all season, and the same basic errors we've been seeing for nearly 2 years now. These guys are not coached defensively at all, I don't think.
Christina, I just quickly want to bring you on the Vicario debate as well. And looking at it, now, a lot of Spurs fans, when Vicario came in and obviously David Raya was making his mistakes, a lot of Spurs fans say, like, he cost us 17 million, Vicario is a better goalkeeper. 2 years on, different contrast. Where do we go from here with Vicario? Because would you replace him in the summer, or would you give him another season under a different coach?
I would definitely give him another season on the coach, in my personal opinion, because I do think, we've been going on about how much we love Vicario. It's just only been since he's come back from his injury, things have started to drift off. But I don't think it's just him. I think the issue is a lot bigger than that, and that's why I just really think this whole team. I think we have good players. This is the thing, but the way that we're playing is making them look bad. So I just don't think. I think under a new manager, we're going to look completely different with the way that we should be playing. It's just me and Billy have defended Ange in the past, and we've always said, he needs time, wait for the players to come back from their injuries, and then make a judgment out of it. And then literally, what has happened? They've all come back, and it's exactly the same rubbish that we're watching. So he needs to go because that's just how it is. You can't just be quick on these managers that come in and out of this club, which they do anyway, but you need to give them time, you need to adjust to it. But it's now not working, and we're suffering for it big time. And yeah, I hate to be harsh on Vicario because I do think he's actually very good as a player, and I did see a lot of comments on Twitter like, it was a terrible loss. But I think him in general, I think he's actually quite a big character for the team. He's so vocal on the pitch. He's someone that I could see as being like a vice captain, even a captain himself, because I really feel he's one of the small amount of the players that are in the team who actually do care for the club and actually want to win. But sadly, all the errors that he made yesterday gave us a loss. It's just, but for me, I don't see to change goalkeeper. just yet.
Jay, bring you in on it. Are you the same? Are you in the same bracket as everyone else? Because I saw you shaking your head.
No, nowhere near. The issue with me and Vicario is it's always the brain dead decisions. And some of these you're never going to change out of a player. It's just how he's made up. He's very hyperactive. He's always there. Don't get me wrong. Shot stopping is incredible. Like you look at his Frankfurt save. He made an incredible save. He made an early save against Forest when Gibbs White turned and shot. The issue is he's always going to have that irrational moment in him. And when I think there was a stat the other day that he has individually cost us 9 points this season. The geezer's missed half the season, and his errors have led to goals that we've lost games from. So for me, he's not the first person I'd be looking to replace, but he's certainly somebody in the next year that definitely we need to be looking to upgrade. And as for Kinski, you look at him in that first game that he come in and you think, yeah, this is going to be an incredible signing. And then he just absolutely flaps it, whether or not that's young age or if that's confidence. But ultimately, there's so many players in this squad that need to go in the summer. And unless they do, we're going to be having the same chat under the next manager in less than 12, 16 months. And I'm bored of it, Marlon. It's been 3 years I've been having this chat with you.
I can ask a question. Does Vicario get into any top 6 team at the moment?
Yeah. Yeah,
Chelsea,
I'd argue
maybe.
he does.
Maybe not really.
I'd argue he gets into Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Easily.
Yeah, but are we just saying this because of how bad we actually are at the moment?
So this is the question. Is it because Spurs are bad and we've got a bad coach, as everyone has said, or is it down to Vicario himself?
No, see, but the thing is, how far can you put it down to being a coaching error? Obviously, we know at Spurs we've got 4 or 5 different coaches that work with the goalkeepers. We've got one guy that's worked there since the days of Brad Friedel. But ultimately, you can't change the mentality of a player that's naturally hyperactive and passionate, which he is. But at the same time, if you can tame him, you can teach him. Like him coming for that cross last night, I was thinking, what are you doing? But then ultimately, you look at your defenders and say, if you're ball watching, what option did he have? He would have had to do something. So it's just one of them situations where I think he does need to get upgraded, but it ain't one of these ones where he's got to be the first on list to go out.
Was it a Paratici signing, guys, as well? That's what I want to know.
Yes, I'm pretty sure it was. I think that was one of his last signings.
Cool. Big up, is that guards there?
Yeah.
What you saying, bro? You right?
Hold on, he's on mute. He's on mute. Yeah.
Just leave him on. Just leave him on.
Yeah, leave it like that.
Yeah, I just think like just on the goalkeeper situation, just to wrap it up, I think the goalkeeper is your spine. Do you know what I mean? So that's a position you have to get right if you're going to be serious in the top 4, top 6, where most Spurs fans think we should be in it. We're not there at the moment. We're somewhere down the other side of the table. But I saw the difference between us and Forest was they had Matt Sells,
Well, keeper.
and then we had Richie up top, and they had Chris Wood. Do you know what I'm saying? And that, for me, was the 2 differences because I think they broke a record in terms of touches in the box. I think they had one of the lowest amount of touches in the box since some of those records began. I think Palace were the lowest, having 2 touches in 2021, and they managed to win the game. Do you know what I'm saying? So, for me, at this level, Premiership is unforgiving. You need to have a top level of attackers. So when you do get chances, you put it away. You're clinical. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's something we're lacking at Spurs. Killers. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that's just my take.
So speaking of killers, what I really wanted to get into is Romero.
Oh.
Now,
Wow, yeah.
Well, so for me, this caught me. Look, this caught me by surprise yesterday because I was on Last Word on Spurs, and I was just finished saying that I don't think he wants to be here, and a lot of people were like saying, "Oh no, how can you say that?" Because for me last night, I felt like he wanted to get sent off. I don't think he wants to play league games anymore. No. And then about 10 minutes later, Ricky comes out and tells me that statement. Billy, I just wanted to get your opinion. So now that Romero basically literally told us he wants to leave for Spain, should he play again? Or are you in the mindset of, you know what, this is down to how this club's being run. That's why he wants to leave.
I think it's a really tricky one. Firstly, I can't believe he did it in our own training ground as well, man. That is some dark stuff, isn't it? Like, he did it in our own backyard. I think Romero is a really tricky one because I think, like, on his day, he's by far our best defender. Like, the performance that he put in against Frankfurt, brilliant. Barely seen it all season.
Yeah.
He's been injured a lot of the season, but that spirit and fighting spirit, he's a World Cup winner. If we're going to need to win the Europa League, I think we're going to have to play Romero. To be real with you, I think I love Kevin Danso. I think he's a brilliant signing. I think he's a great squad player. He might even turn into be a decent replacement for Romero. But I think this season, if we're going to have any chance of winning the Europa League, we need Romero starting. I think it's unfortunate. I think it's disrespectful time, and especially from someone that is our current captain now that Son's injured. I don't think he should be making those interviews, public interviews like that. I don't think he should be walking down the tunnel after the Wolves game as well. But at the same time, it's hard to disagree with the things that he says. He came out and said, it's the same people every year, new managers, new players. It's the same people at fault. I just don't like the way that he did it, to be honest with you.
Christina, what's your feelings on Romero right now? Because obviously a lot of people he's been making mistake after mistake for the club. He's made a lot of mistakes for Spurs in a Spurs shirt. And for him to come out with something like that when he's barely played.
Ever since the Chelsea game, he's not been to his usual standards that we used to. I can't get over the audacity of him actually having that interview literally on our lawn in our training ground, probably drinking from a Spurs mug as well whilst he was doing that interview. It's just ridiculous. And it always seems to be players always come in and mug us off like that when they're still at the club. They haven't even left. They're still there with the contract. It's just always at Tottenham. But I there is comments like what Billy said where I do agree with him, but surely you can do it in a much better way. And if it is towards, someone up higher, aim it towards them then, because we're the ones that are suffering here as well. Don't forget that. Us fans, we have suffered a hell of a lot. But I couldn't believe it when I was reading the comments, and he's not been wanting to be at Tottenham for a long, long time. There's always been the odd rumour about it. And yeah, all right, if that's how you want to be, and if that's the attitude, then please go, because we can't be dealing with players if that's how your attitude is going to be like that. Leave, because we want to see players that actually want to come in and play for the shirt. I'm tired with all of these players that come in. Even Christian Eriksen, I remember when he did it right at the last season, he was absolutely awful with us, and it's just hurry up and leave, just go. So to be honest, I'm just so disappointed for a vice captain as well. I just think it's really disrespectful, even towards the fans and the team. But like I said, if you've got an issue with it being someone up higher, aim it towards them. Don't throw us into it, because we are literally watching. Everybody knows how depressed Tottenham fans are right now. Please stop making it worse, basically. Just help us out for once.
Jay, bring on the Romero situation as well. Where are your feelings on this?
You know what? The issue for me with Romero is he done that bit back in January where he openly, and I mean openly, called out the board and said it's on the board, which it is fully. At the same time, you need to question on one, who signed off on him having this interview, knowing that these are the questions he's going to be asked after last week's rumour mill before the quarter final. But secondly, as a co-captain, you shouldn't be push it away. Them comments are going to be coming. You do it whilst you're on international duty, because you prioritise playing, not over playing for the club anyway. But ultimately, what he's doing there, he's doing more harm to one, probably the players around him that are thinking we've got this World Cup winner in our squad, and he's openly looking to leave, and he's saying I want a new challenge.
Do you not think the players already know though?
But going out publicly for it, what good's that doing? Because people like Van der Ven, his agent seems to be doing a lot of talking at the moment. Dragusin, who's been absolutely having the audacity to say that he could go play for Juventus. Conte would have him in a box before you know it. But you look at it and you go, if this is the mentality of where our club's at, we're where we deserve to be, and the fans don't deserve it. And it boils down to the same people. They've come out tonight and they've blamed the fitness staff, the technical analyst staff. Nobody's come out and openly pointed the finger and gone, do you know what? Daniel Levy, Cullen, Colcott all made these decisions. Why are they not being held accountable for it? We've hired a B-Tech manager from a Scottish league who doesn't even have his coaching badges, and we're expecting him to be competing in the Premier League. And as there was a guy in the comments earlier saying, oh, he's shown he can do it. He showed it for 10 games. And since then, he's been shocking. So, but obviously, when it comes back round, Romero shouldn't be making them comments. And for me, after watching Danso v Forest, I ain't playing Romero against Bodo.
Seriously,
I ain't playing him against Bodo. Why?
That's
We've got
controversial.
Danso. We've got Danso who's come out and openly gone, I'm dying to play for this club. I would rather have a player who's going to give 100%, thinking, do you know what, I'm going to do every single thing that I can to win at this club, than a player that goes, do you know what, if we win or lose, it doesn't matter because I'm going to be off in 3 months' time. So yeah, no, for me, I'm playing Danso over Romero.
Guards, bring you in on it.
Hey, can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear now.
I'm getting belters. I'm getting belters from everyone on the group, so it's making me laugh. Sorry, no, I've got to be honest. My kids have been playing up, so sorry I've jumped on late. I do apologise.
It's fine.
But
I'll have work tomorrow.
Thanks for having us on, mate. Thanks for having us on.
Worries.
You know, Marlon, you know more than most what it's like with the kids.
Yeah.
Our kids go to the same school, so you can vouch for me on that one.
Speaking of kids, let's speak about Romero and his petulant Chastain interview. What's your feelings towards him at the moment?
I mean, are the quotes actually factual?
Yeah, it's video, man. There's a video.
I know, yeah, it's a video.
If I could speak Spanish.
No, but you know, sometimes they can be misinterpreted, can't they? I mean, is it legit what he said? We all 100% behind. He said that he's looking to move to the league and things like that. Yeah.
Yep.
I think
to be fair, it's clickbaity. To be fair, you need to hear the whole.
He didn't quite say that.
He said he needs to play in the Liga.
Yeah.
He wants to play in the Liga. I mean,
and he's got to speak to his agent in summer.
He basically said he basically was saying,
go on.
How the Liga was at the last, because they asked that the interview asked him like, where would you like to play, and he was just saying like that's the last league I would like to play, like La Liga. He's basically said he's done Italy, he's done the Prem, and like the league is like the last one he would like to do. Do you know what I mean? In so many words, but obviously they framed it like, because we know he's linked with Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
And so like the headlines are Romero wants to play for the Liga club. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
But
yeah. Ash has like laid it out for me there, so I appreciate that, mate. That makes more sense. I think again, talking about Romero, I mean, it's a difficult one. I like to think people say he's world class, and he is a great defender, but I just find him so rash, like with a lot of things that he does. I mean, I know people talk about bookings. I think he's only been booked twice in the last 17 games. I think it is. So I think sometimes you can run along with like a theme of him being a bit dirty and so forth. But out of the defenders we've got, I mean, I know Joe was saying about Danzo. I think he's the best of what we've got. I certainly would play him in the Europa League games. I mean, it's not ideal him coming out and saying that when he has said it because of the season we're having. And also, I think, obviously, when I watch him play, I don't know if anybody else felt it yesterday, but he always seems like a frustrated character to me. So, like, he runs around the pitch kind of like a headless chicken. Like, we're 2-0 down and he gets annoyed and he's in midfield and he's up front and he's taking people out. I think he seems to lose his head a little bit. And that comes down to frustration. I think because he's a top player, I think sometimes when he feels he's maybe not playing with the calibre he wants to be playing with, and we talk about Argentina and stuff like that. I mean, this season we look at the Spurs side, there's a lot of youngsters that have been in there. Yes, we've certainly underperformed, but I think with regards to Romero, I'll definitely stick with him this season and even maybe next as well. Because you can't keep losing your top players and expecting to replace them. No offense to Danzo, but great for me as a backup. But you know, you look at Kane, for example. People saying, and a lot of fans said it. oh, we sell Harry, we get the money for him, we reinvest it. Look what's happened. We sold him, and no disrespect to Solanke, but he's been nowhere near, is he? Really, in that sense, to what Harry provided for us.
So, on that, and actually, you thrown a great question there. So Solanke obviously has come in, but obviously a lot of people are now saying that for the next few games, people want to see Richarlison instead, which is a bit of a like, okay, where do we go from here? But how would you lot feel if Richarlison was the one that we ended up playing over the next few weeks over Solanke? Because, what's it, 1 goal in how many games?
You know what's crazy? I think
Don't know.
obviously we're playing Liverpool next, and that's when Richarlison turns up. It's mad. It's like he's still a Scouser boy at heart. He loved playing for Everton, and that was their biggest rivals at the time. And when he has played for us, he has been a nuisance to them. Do I rate Richarlison? Not me personally. As a footballer, I don't really rate him as a footballer. Do you know what I'm saying? But the fact that he's able to get into those positions and he's just told, and you know what, just do one. Do you know what I mean? Because Solanke obviously is listening, and in the system, I think he's asked to defend high up, press, and because I've watched interviews with Solanke saying, yeah, that's what the gaffer, he wants me to do this and that, and I've seen how he played under Iriola when he was like higher up the pitch in the box, trying to get on the end of stuff, whatnot. Richarlison now, yeah, yesterday he's created four big chances and only scored one of them. So for me, like, yeah, that's good, but at this level, you need to be clinical. And Richie's not clinical enough for me to be in that Spurs shirt, to be our number 9. But then you look at how much chances he's created versus how much Solanke's created. It's night and day. I think Richie's getting more chances by being in the right position. So it's like, it's either you say Richarlison is a better forward than Solanke, or you look at Ange and say, Ange, your tactics are holding back Solanke. It's one of the two. Both can't be right. Do you know what I'm saying? So this is where fans that are Angeing, I know where I want to do this, Ange in, Ange out. I know people hate it, but it is what it is right now. Do you know what I'm saying? So I honestly think if Solanke's getting in those positions, remember how many goals he scored with his head? And all of a sudden, Porro's whipping in crosses. You've got Odegaard, you've got obviously Tell throwing in crosses, and like Richarlison's able to get on the end of them. But he should have had a hat trick. That's the way I see it. He should have had a hat trick. But that's just my thinking of it. I don't know. I see them. They tried to play both of them up front, and I know they've done it before. I think it was against Brighton where we went into a 4-2-4 or 4-4-2. And we also did it against Fulham, I think, as well. We went into 4-4-2. We both had Richarlison and Solanke, but for the majority of the season, they haven't both been fit. So they haven't been able to do that. But at the same time, when we do go to a 4-4-2, I feel like the two midfielders in the middle, they don't really do much. They're not really playing through the lines. They're not really getting on a half turn and being expansive and trying to dribble and play through. Like, they're not doing none of that. So those two midfielders, sometimes they're kind of null and void. But that's just my opinion. But what do you lot think? Do you lot think that Solanke should be dropped? Do you lot rate his hard work? Or anyone, this is a free roam, anyone can jump in, right?
I think it's a difficult one because I think Solanke, like, you see what he offers to the team of work rate, but the fact is when he's playing, like, we don't create many chances for him at all. Richarlison yesterday I think he got more chances than in that one game than Solanke's had in like the last 5 or 6. And I think the fact is that neither of them are killers. They're not killer strikers, neither of them. And I think, Richarlison is not a clinical striker. He works hard. They both work hard in different ways. Richarlison works hard in the box. Solanke works hard outside the box. And I don't think either of them have really got that killer instinct for enough to be a top quality striker like someone like Victor Osimhen or someone like that. But it's a difficult one for me because I think we had 51 crosses yesterday when Richarlison was playing. What I don't get is why we don't cross when Solanke plays as well, because he scored the most headers in the Premier League last season. I don't think he's ever scored a header for us. So, yeah, it's a frustrating one. I don't think either of them have got that killer instinct that we really need to be like, we're used to seeing people like Harry Kane.
I hear it, Billy, but who would you start? That's what I want to know. Against Liverpool now.
With me, I'm not too bothered about the Liverpool game. I'd start with Richarlison for that. For like you say, he's got the backstory there. But in our big game, Bodo Glimt, I'm starting Solanke.
Okay, I hear it.
Yeah, I would just to jump in as well. I'd agree with Billy on that. Again, I think sometimes with us fans, and I think I could be the same. We can be a bit knee jerk after games. You know, someone hasn't performed, so actually, he's going to be better, and so on. But I think unfortunately, like Billy was alluding to there, like Solanke with his headed goals and not scoring as many as he did when he was at Bournemouth. I think it's lack of chance. We never seem to create. I think, like you say, against Frankfurt, I know it was obviously a backs to the wall performance, but he had a penalty. But he worked his socks off, and he was massive for us in that game. And I think that he actually creates more for other players being on the pitch. I think with Richarlison, it's a difficult one because he, again, is. How can I put it? Like you want to think he's a top striker. When he was at Everton, again, he was getting some goals, paid some good money for him, but it just hasn't worked for him at Spurs. Whether that's injuries or just it being out of position, I think likes to come off the left, and that's always been Son's position. Has he really been he plays number 9 for Brazil, but I think again form is massive, and a consistent run of games is huge. So if we get that from him, we might see the striker that we signed, but it's never really worked for him, has it? He always seems to be in and out of injuries and form and so on. But definitely what Billy said, I would definitely look at starting Richarlison against Liverpool and Solanke against Bodo Glimt for sure. One thing I will point out, I'd like to mention, you might have already spoken about it, but I mentioned it on X, and I've mentioned it a few times on groups and to people, and I kind of get it's an unpopular opinion, but I think one of our biggest problems is Vicario, and it might sound controversial, and I'll stand by it because look, let's be honest, right? And I say this now. Let's look at Arsenal, right? Our rivals, for example. Now, I didn't think Ramsdale was a bad keeper. I don't know if anyone else did, but I actually thought he was doing a good job for them. Bang, Arteta replaced him. Not good enough. Need better. Signs David Raya. They look so much more assured with him in goal. I just think that we say that he's a leader, but actually I see him creating problems every game from his part. Whether he's told to pass out from the back from Ange or so forth, I get it. But there's a lot of times he should be going long. And he doesn't, and he persists to play it back. But they're like hospital passes. 2, he can't claim crosses, doesn't claim corners. You need to take the stress off your defence at times. And shot stopping, not denying that. Yeah, great shot stopper. But is that enough? Is that enough to be classed as an elite goalkeeper and somebody you want in between the sticks? I honestly think he's a big problem because a lot of people don't look at him. And one thing I mentioned as well, Hugo Lloris, coming towards the back end of his career, it was different. But for about 10 years, never even looked at the goalkeeper position. No one ever worried about it or discussed it because it was never, ever a problem because he was a great goalkeeper for us. But this guy's come in, and don't get me wrong, I know we looked at Kinski and he's young. I'm not saying that he's the answer, but I certainly don't think Vicario is. And if you want to be a top side, you need a top keeper.
Fair enough, man. Christina, what are you saying? Do you think then, because I'm looking at Solanke's stats now, and the stats are saying that he's got 3 assists. Because we're talking about creativity, 7 goals and 3 assists. That's 10 goal contributions in the league. And the reason why I'm mentioning just the league is because that's where we've suffered the most, and we've needed goals to help us in crucial games, especially like teams that were around us at the time when we were trying to push up around that 10th/11th place or 9th place, and we're trying to push our way up. He's played a total of 24 games, and like, some people are saying like, oh, okay, he's the sacrificial lamb in the system. But when I'm looking at the numbers, his assists don't really quite equate for that. And some people might say, oh, he's the assist before the assist, but even his key passes aren't there where they need to be. But yeah, what's your point? What's your thoughts? Richarlison, or would you stick with Solanke for like the Bodo Glint?
I think I would go for Richarlison because it's Liverpool as well. I feel like we need to have like just that sort of person that's got a lot more passion and like he's got that fire, hasn't he? And he's savage, and that's what I feel like we need to have when it comes to these big games. Like I always say with Richarlison, like playing against like in Arsenal or something like that, like I love to have him in there because he will give it to them. And I feel like that's what we lack a lot with Tottenham is we always have these soft players and,
So you saying Solanke's soft then? Are you saying Solanke, you reckon
I don't think he's... I think he not like I think Richie has got more, definitely. He's got
South
attitude,
America, isn't it?
Richie.
Yeah,
He's
South
got
America.
That's and I feel like that's what we lack a lot. We don't have these players that like proper going in and having a little fight. That's why I liked him and Romero. But Romero can do one because he's annoyed me recently. But but Richarlison, I feel like he got his goal yesterday. But I feel like that's what we need with a Liverpool, and hopefully he knows what it's like with Everton as well. He knows the rivalry with them, so use it and switch it up with if it doesn't come out in the first half, whatever. Switch up in the second half with Slanky if that's the case. But I I do feel for Slanky because it's like what Billy said. No one provides for him as much as he should be getting at, and I think that's where the team is letting him down. And he has offered a lot. With not with when it doesn't come to goals. I feel like he works his arse off on the pitch, definitely.
So what, Christina? Are you selling Richarlison then? Are you selling them or are you keeping them?
Oh, no, as in, sorry, are we talking about? I thought we meant as in starting him for the Liverpool game.
No, I did. I said the Liverpool, but I'm just
Alright.
switching up the question for peace. I'm just saying, right, the way you're talking.
I do like Richarlison, but he's not consistent. And the injuries as well, I think, is a big problem, and we can't keep up with that. For me, I would sell him.
Fair enough, man. Same to you, my broski. Jay, what you saying, man?
Right. So I've got a different take on this to everybody so far. Yeah. Who are our two
Course you have.
highest? Yeah, but who are our two highest goal scorers? What positions do they play?
Midfield,
Johnson.
Right wing,
Brennan.
Johnson.
right wing, and
Right
midfield.
wing and left wing. The thing is, this system's not set up for him. He makes that darting run, and Johnson's free at the back post. Like, I don't think Solanke's going to be this fantastic. He's not a Harry Kane replacement. Richie ain't a Harry Kane replacement, but the work rate that he puts in at the moment is unmatched. Richarlison will bomb about for 30, 40 minutes, get himself injured, and he's off again for 5-6 games. Solanke, regardless of the goal scored, and you can look at it from two different angles. You can look at it confidence, or you can look at it in his ability. Like, one of the things at Bournemouth he was always good at was playing off his shoulder and running in behind. But we don't do that. We hit the wings, we play it into the middle. He makes the front post run, and Johnson's always free at the back for a tap in. And I'm one of Johnson's biggest haters, but that's what Johnson's good at. He's there in the space. But if I'm having to pick which one am I going for up top, yeah, Richie against Liverpool and Solanke against Bodo.
Yeah.
And the reason why Richie seems to have this weird obsession that he wants to twerk and make his way back to Everton. Hopefully, come the summer, he's gone back there. But for now, he is a guy that wants to hurt Liverpool. He wants to be the guy that's going to score that goal. So he's the right guy for that game. But Bodo, you want the player that's going to make the space for the goals that we score every game. And that's the wings into the middle, Johnson's free at the back post, or I really hope he ain't fit, because I'm going to be honest, we've played better without him, and that's Son. He doesn't seem to want to beat his man. He wants to hug the touchline. I could be wrong, and he can really prove me right, prove me wrong. As Marlon knows, this happened more than once. But ultimately, what I've seen from Tel in the last two games as well, even though he's not quite there, you can see he's gaining his confidence.
Do you just on that Son thing, yeah, playing out wide? Do you think that's kind of hampering him, guys? Do you think playing Son as a touchline winger is maybe, because a lot of people are saying, yeah, Son's done, he's finished, he's washed, he's lost his legs, he's not as sharp as he used to be. Rare tear, we need to sell him while we can. Do you think another manager comes in, plays him like closer to the goal where he used to play? We know that season where he got that joint golden boot. Like, does anyone think he's still got more goals in him? Because you said it, Jay. You said, where's most of our goals coming from? The wings. Son's included in that, and he hasn't played for many games. So I'm saying, what if he's a bit closer to goals? Does he score more, or is it time to get rid of Son? Is it too sentimental FC? Because a lot of people say we hold on to too many players for too long. Like, what are we saying about Sonny?
I think for me, you can check his heat map, and it looks like a sub warming up in these last 5-6 games. It's been horrendous, and it was like, you look at it and he just wants to sit on that wing. He wants the overlap from, your Spence. Like, don't get me wrong, if that's how we're tactically set up, but you look at him for Korea, for example, he's a different player. He's shooting from outside the box. He's beating players. So, like, there's part of me that wants to go, do you know what? There's still a player in there. There's part of me that then remembers he is kicking on. He is getting older. I dare say he's getting frustrated because he's dedicated a big chunk of his career to us. He stayed loyal when he could have left. And ultimately, it's obviously the saying, if you stay too long, you ultimately become a villain. And that's what he's doing, for me, anyway.
He's not a touchline winger, man, and I think the only reason why he's not played our last 2 games, obviously because of his injury. If he hadn't had that foot injury, he'd have been starting against Frankfurt, and he'd have been starting against Forest. And I think we've had so many games this season where he's been completely ineffective because he's being asked to do things that his body can no longer do. And I think in Odegaard and Tell, we've finally seen a right profile for touchline wingers, people that can beat a man and create. And Son has not been able to do that, and Johnson has not been able to do that. And I think we see, if you put Son close to the striker, you see a completely different player. He's like one of the best finishers in the history of the Premier League, statistically. He's not really getting any shots off anymore like he used to because he's being asked the things to do that he can't do anymore. So I think the use of Son this season has been one of my biggest frustrations with Ange. I think he's just he's frustrated for the whole season. I think it's been his worst season in recent memory. And I blame Ange for that, to be honest, rather than blame Son, because for me, Son is a certified Tottenham legend. He's given everything for this club. He's been loyal when he signed a contract when we had Nuno. Well, that says it all, really, doesn't it? So yeah, I think Ange, the way that we've used Son is disgraceful to me this season.
What do you make of Tell then? Do you trigger that kind of 50 million, whatever it is, for Tell?
I think we're starting to see it, man. We're starting to see it. I think it's a shame we didn't see it a few games earlier. Like Tell should have had a lot of the minutes that Son's been having, I think, in my opinion. My biggest worry with Tell is if we don't trigger it, someone else is going to, and he's going to be a real decent player for the future. So personally, I'll do it.
Does anyone not worry on the panel, though, that 50 million is like a huge sum of money that we could go towards, I don't know, Anna Buemo?
Ash,
You know what I'm saying? Like, someone that
Ash, let me jump in and ask you a question.
Go on, ask your question. Go on.
Do you trust this club to spend 50 million on another player other than Tell? Honestly, because I can name so many players that we signed for ridiculous amounts of money that I don't know. I just can't get my head around.
Tell you where I sit on it, bro. I said, look, these men are buying up youth. We're like a North London crash right now. Mad expensive. And I'm saying, look, we need to, I don't mind the young ones. I don't mind the youngers, but supplement them with people that have been in the Prem, that have experience, or even if they're not in the Prem, because this whole Prem proven thing, we need to throw it in the bin now. So we tried it with Richarlison, didn't work. We tried it with Basuma. What's going on there? Do you know what I'm saying? So we've done it with a few. Johnson. I know people argue he's got goals though, but I'm just saying we've done the whole Prem thing, and I'm saying, look, I don't mind if it's Prem or if it's outside of Prem. Just give me a guy that's over 22 and has got experience and has done it for more than a season. Because this one hit wonder thing, and I make it. So I just want someone that's a bit more certain that I can be excited at as a fan. And I'm saying they go straight in that 11. Because for me, if Son, because I'm not sure about Son, I don't know if he is declining or if it is the manager that's not getting the best out of him. Because I saw what Slot's done with Salah. They're the same age. How did they both get Golden Boot? And then one's gone like that, and the other one's has gone like that. To me, the math ain't mathing. So I need to see another manager. Maybe he gets the best out of him. Son gets more goals. Or I need to be planning. Just like how we should have done with Kane. Get someone in that's adequate to fill those boots that Sonny did, because I think that was a huge reason why we are where we are right now. The season isn't ending well, and the season hasn't gone to plan because that front line has been stinky. I'm being dead real. It's just been smelling up the place. And our front three has been the biggest reason why, whether you want Andrew in or out, is an attacking manager. And that front three, you need your front three to be firing. It's like Conte. Conte needed the defenders. You didn't have no defenders at the back. So I don't know, man. That's just where I sit on it.
Yeah.
Hope that answers your question, guys.
I come late, I start asking questions. I go, what I am.
Well, anyone for questions was the free house.
I mean, if I looked at Spurs next season, if I looked at players that I think, you mentioned Mbeumo from Brentford, he would be the type of caliber player that I'd like Spurs to sign on that right hand side. I think he's got all the attributes of what you'd need and what you want a winger to be. Scores goals, quick, can take on a player. He fits that criteria. I'd like Spurs to look at Delap from Ipswich. I think he'd be a good striking option. Strong, young, good finisher. And again, like the unrealisticness, probably Championship manager coming out a little bit, but I'd like to look at Wharton and Mark Gehi from Palace. And, if we're to sell Romero for big money, go and get the Palace centre-half. And Adam Wharton, I think he would be. I think he'd be a huge player for whoever gets him. I'd love us to get him, but that obviously all depends on, I think, what happens in the Europa League.
Just on that Romero thing, does anyone got any suggestions for centre-backs that they like in the Premier League?
You just know it's going to be Vuskovic, don't you? You just know that's his replacement.
The guy at Bournemouth, what's his name? Hoogerson. He's out of our league now, though, isn't it? He's not coming to a 16th place team.
Everyone's out of our league, mate. No one's going to be wanting to come to us.
Gay's waiting for Newcastle as well, so that's out.
No, but guys, there's the elephant in the room, right? The Europa League, isn't it? It's the Europa League.
It is.
We can go and get Hoogerson.
Hear me out. I'm saying, look, if Spurs were to win it, because loads of fans have hope right now. They're like, forget the Prem now. Prem's done. Let's look at Europa. That's a little bit of hopium that we can take into the rest of the season. Because let's face it, if it weren't for that, our season would be done. But right now, we have a chance. So I've got a question. Would you take 17th place and a trophy, right?
Billy, don't answer this question first. Everyone else first.
This question's been done already. All right.
No. Billy's answered this already, but he put a funny twist to it. But come on, carry on.
All right. So I don't know, innit? But I'm saying, what would you take 17th at Europa, but you have to keep Ange? You have to keep Ange, yeah? Or would you finish, top 5, I'd say, top 5 of no cup, and you get rid of Ange?
Do you want me to answer that?
Anyone can answer that.
I'll answer it. Yeah.
I'm doing mental gymnastics at the moment.
Right, so listen.
Wait. Actually, no, I want you to answer it last. Let's ask Christina, then Jay.
All right, go on then.
Then Billy, then you, then
no, not Billy before me.
Christina, Jay, yes.
All right, Ash is giving us a little. All right, go on then. Christina's first.
Okay. I'll tell you what. Do you know what? I want a trophy. I want a trophy. I so badly. I'm desperate. But when you say to keep Ange, I'm like, oh my god, can I actually do another season of this? I really don't think we can. We're actually going to be fighting for relegation next season if that is the case.
So I'm saying it's 10 Hog vibes, isn't it?
Listen, oh my gosh, that is a ridiculous question. That is absolutely ridiculous.
There's not a wrong answer. Just say what you feel, man.
I'm gonna say I want a trophy. That's what I want.
I hear it. Jay, what are you saying, man?
For me, trophy over anything. Like, I'd give absolutely anything to go back to 2008 and feel that again. And do you know what? It sounds so tedious. I'd do, just anything to win it. So for me, I'd still be living off that in 6 months' time when Ange gets sacked. I'll still be buzzing that we've won something. So for me, I'd take the latter, and I'd be taking a trophy and keeping it. But ultimately, judging by stuff coming out today, we ain't got to worry about that.
I know. Wait. Can I ask, before you come in, before I was going to say, what if it was a League Cup? Like, you don't get Champions League. You still.
I'm taking Audi Cup at this rate.
Hold on, Ash. You've missed out a vital part of this.
Yeah, go on.
There's a certain team that could win the Champions League a couple of days after us.
That's a tricky one.
There's your question.
Listen, I've had debates on this with people recently, and if I'm so say if what would you rather? I think I put it on my Twitter today. Would you rather have Arsenal win and us win, or both lose out? I've had a long. This is all I've been thinking about today. This whole question. Personally, now I would take the trophy, even if they win Champions League. And the reason I say that is because we need to accept, and I'm pretty sure most of us have now, Arsenal are way ahead of us. And next season, God knows they're going to be fighting. For sure they're going to be fighting the league. And I just think we got to accept it. They are ahead of us, and that's that. But for me, if we win the Europa League, I do not give a damn if it is the one the one below Champions League. I'm going to be shouting it off the rooftops. I'm going to be going into work with a whole full kit, Spurs, Tottenham full kit. I don't care. I just want a damn trophy to end this drought. I do not care. But, and I just think we got to accept it with Arsenal. Like, it is what it is. I need the trophy though. I need to stop this drought. It's just so painful. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna go for.
Damn, girl, you thirsty. Who's next?
I'm a hater by first, man. I'm not taking any trophy if Arsenal win the Champions League. My hatred for Arsenal is stronger than my love for Tottenham. I've got to be honest. I'm a hater. If we have to win if they have to win the Champions League and we win Europa League, I'm taking no trophies all day. Give me another 17 years, man. I'll take it.
You deserve everything.
I'm a hater. What can I say?
That is mad, Billy. Another 17 years. Wow.
Imagine them winning the Champions League. Imagine what that would actually be like to live in real life.
We'll get little bros.
Just won the Champions League.
Yeah,
No, we would only have 3 days to celebrate, and that'd be it.
Bitch.
And that guy that just commented, they'd beat us in the Super Cup as well, so that'd be even more. That'd be double over.
Can you imagine Super Cup, and then we got to play them in the friendly after? Can't make it up. Guards, what are you saying, man? What would you take?
Am I answering both questions or just the one? Because if it's the and one, then I'm 100% taking a trophy and I'll sack him after one game. So he's gone after one. There you go. Loophole. I'll go against Billy, I think, because we're at a point as a club where I know we talk about Champions League, but this season is a disaster. It's an absolute disaster. And I think if we don't win the Europa League, I don't know where we're going to be next season. Honestly, I can't see the wood through the trees with it. Honestly, I generally can't, because if we're going to lose big players that are sounding out moves, wanting to go, it's going to be so hard to keep hold of them. And I just don't see, like you say, a strategy of transfers. Even like we talk about Bremo from Brentford, is he going to want to come to Spurs? If a Newcastle sniffing around or someone else? Probably not. So we're kind of, again, our pool of players become even lower. And honestly, I think, again, it's an unpopular opinion, but I don't know if people might not agree with me, but generally, if those bottom three were not as bad as they were, we were in trouble. We were in trouble because I think I said it after the Everton game. I looked at our list of teams and I thought, well, if we're playing, I can't see how many we're going to win. And lo and behold, it's pretty much been Southampton, and I think we beat Man United at home. But it's been abysmal, and we're so weak, poor, away from home. I know, again, the Frankfurt game, we played a bit slightly differently, but I mean, you look at the Wolves game, it was so easy. And then the Forest game, I know people were saying we played well. Yeah, we played well, but they scored twice and then just sat off us. It was literally, and you just felt that if we'd have got back in the game, they'd have just gone up another level and we'd have struggled again. That's kind of how it felt. But all that happened was, we had a lot of the ball. We whipped in a few crosses. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, we should have scored more. Oh, it's not Ange's fault. He managed a 4-2 win or whatever we see constantly. But ultimately, the manager's there to win games, isn't he? And we haven't been doing that. So, yeah, for me, definitely take the trophy. And I'd have to allow Arsenal to win the Champions League. I'm going to forget about them, and I'm going to focus on what we're doing as a club. And a European competition, that's nothing to be, we can't turn that down. If we could win that and bring that home, that is huge for the club and fans as well. And I'm not going another 17 years. I don't know if I've got 17 years left. So I'm not. No, why am I waiting? No, I'm taking it. That's it.
I think I'd be so mad if Spurs finish 17th, because if you actually deep it, our next 5 games, listen, Liverpool, I don't know if you lot see a win. I personally don't. I think that's an L. Yeah, that's an L. And then after that, bro, after that, we got West Ham. We have West Ham away. It's the battle of the 16th, 17th. I don't know what to call it. The bottom of the bottom. You know what I'm saying? So if we lose that game, listen, that's where we're going to finish, I think. Because then after that, it's just Palace at home. And then after Palace, so 3 points possibly. I don't know.
Villa away and then Brighton.
I can't even say Palace with confidence, to be fair. But anyway, Villa away, which we do have a good record at. But these players are on the beach, man. I don't think they're actually playing.
Villa going to be playing for Champions League as well. So
they're going to be on it. Exactly. So when it comes to pressure, that's why even about Bodo Glint, everyone's like, book your tickets now, man, to build ready. Listen, I think Spurs perform better when we're underdogs. But when you expect us to win, that's when we do some tomfoolery. That's when we start getting on my nerves. So I'm thinking, we just got to kind of play that one a little bit different. We definitely need to win a home game.
Do you know what, Ash? Just sorry to jump in because I feel like I'm jumping a bit here, but we talk about Bodo Glint, and I'm one of those. I think we're all pretty much the same, but I panic every time there's a team that we should beat. I remember I'm still scarred by Kevin Prince Boateng in the semi-final against Portsmouth. I still have nightmares about that. And then we also look at this season, right? You're playing a team in Norway, freezing cold. I don't know what the weather will be like when we go there, but they're playing an 3G, is it 4G pitch?
4G.
And we couldn't beat Tamworth. So
crap,
You know what's mad, though?
let's have a bit of realism. Let's have some realism. Yeah, the home leg is massive. If we don't go there with a 2-goal lead, I fear for us.
But
Genuinely.
you know what's crazy? We actually do have. I'm pretty sure we've got 4G pitches in that state of the art training ground. I'm pretty sure in the dome we've got so there should be no excuses about the pitch, the conditions, blah blah blah. We should be ready for it. We should have enough time to plan it. Because remember, there was excuses like, they don't have enough time for it. We don't have enough, Thursday, Sunday. I don't want to hear that no more. Players are all back. Everyone's fit. We should be winning. I think we should be winning that game at home at least. So if we're not at least getting the job done at home, and I'm saying two or three goals in the clear, I don't know if I've got that much hope for that cup final, man. I'll be honest with you. You gonna say something, Wallen?
No, I'm just quickly because you did speak about next up and coming games, but we're halfway through the show.
Yeah, go on.
And we've got the illustrious panel on. So
let's do it.
For the next 5-10 minutes, the floor is yours.
Yeah.
Talk to us. Talk to what's going on against Palace.
This is where I get the yellow scarf out.
Quickly, before we come to that, me again. Somebody just asked Bill. Somebody just asked you a question.
Yeah.
Answer it, please.
Yeah, is the answer. I'll take it. That'll be my limit. I'll do it.
You do it. Okay.
That's going off as a YouTube short tomorrow.
I'm not letting him get away with that. No way am I getting away with that. He's got an answer.
What I would take for them to win the Champions League. No, I'll do it for that all day.
Great question.
Bill, lead the way.
All right, so we're going to be protesting in the Crystal Palace game. So it's our third big protest of the season. So the last one that we had in the Southampton game, thank you to everyone that came. It's really, really important to keep the consistent numbers. We're protesting against the board and Daniel Levy and the ownership of this club. And we're going to be protesting at the Crystal Palace game. So Jay, what kind of things are we going to be doing at this game?
So we've got some bits that are yet to be released on. We're planning something during the game, which is going to be vital for everybody to support. For it to be meaningful, we need everybody there. One of the other things we're pushing for people to wear yellow. Obviously, one of the colours that stands out and everybody comments on it is the yellow. We are going to be doing our march. We're just waiting at the moment for Met Police to confirm the road closure time. Once I have that, obviously, we'll put it on socials exactly what time we're going to be meeting there. So we're going to be marching down. We're not going to be spending as long outside West Stand as what we usually do, because we understand some people either want to go for their pre-match pints, do whatever. Some of them want to go do whatever they want to do before. But so we'll be doing that. We'll be releasing a bit of a statement on what we plan to do during the game. Banners will be there. We're going to openly obviously be there. I think the whole team from CFT are going to be there, bar Dan, as he does have his charity walk. Chris, anything to add?
Yeah, we can't thank all the people that have attended, people that have reposted us, tweeted about us. It's all it is. It's just all the awareness has just been incredible from the fans. I run the Instagram account, and some of the pictures that people, they see like a sticker like when they're out and about on the Victoria line or something. It's just great. So that's what we need to get that pressure on again. And we've now gotten to the momentum of yellow. So wear your yellow kits, wear whatever you've got that is yellow, be great. From the photos from the last protest, it looked incredible. So we just want to keep that up, get the pressure even more, and hopefully as well, not saying with all these losses it's helped, but it just shows why we're actually doing this. If you guys really do want change and you're fed up like us lot, join us. It's a friendly protest. bring your dogs, bring your cats, bring your grandmas, whatever. It's friendly. And yeah, we're all here to like talk to everyone as well. You know, we're just a normal bunch of fans at the end of the day. That's how it all started off. So yeah.
Can I ask a
That's,
question about the your causes, guys? I just want to know, like, for like someone that's never heard of you guys, they might be the first time watching our channel. They could be a new subscriber, whatnot, whatnot. What would you say to them, like, to get them down? Because I'm sure there's loads of Spurs fans that haven't joined that march. There's like so much potential, obviously, we could create out of this. But why do you think there's some people that are hesitant to join the march or get involved? Do you think it's awareness? Do you think it's people need to see other people march first? Do you think people are actually like, well, you know, Levy's moved us out of Tottenham, the White Hart Lane, he's moved us into the Tottenham Stadium. Why should we complain? We should be happy, and we're actually in a semi final of a Europa, you know, League Cup. Why should we should go and march against the guy that's got us there? Like, what's your thoughts to those people that are maybe on the fence or that are maybe thinking, you know, Levy's doing a good job?
For me, like, obviously, me and Billy get asked this question quite regularly when we are on pods with you guys. Obviously, not for everybody, change isn't Levy going. That's not our view on it. We want him gone. We want Enoch gone. We want to turn the page. We want to have a fresh start and try and see where we go from there. And obviously, the grass isn't always going to be greener. But ultimately, a fan's not sick and tired of paying the highest season ticket prices in Europe, being rewarded with the lowest wage structures, being rewarded with just poor on-field decisions in regards to the football. Ultimately, Levy's a great businessman. There's no sort of debating with that. But where do his morals lie? Do they lie within the business side of things? Do they lie within the football side of things? We hear this constantly that he cares so much about this club and he wants to do everything. I mean, he cares that much. Where's this interview with Simon Jordan that he's been holding off? But it's one of these things, we can't force people to be there, and we understand some people attending these games as chances to be with their family, fans that have come overseas to watch the club. And all we ask for is if people do feel the same way, they're going to be there with us. And the numbers have proved that in the last 3 protests that we've done.
And I think to anyone sitting on the fence, like, the standards of the season have dropped so low. And I think, you know, if you're on the fence, you got to think, are we going to stand up for ourselves as a fan base at any point? Because we pay the highest ticket prices in Europe. We're currently sat 16th in the Premier League. You know, we have owners that don't give a damn about fans whatsoever. They're going to continue to charge us the highest ticket prices in the league next season. We're currently sitting at 16th. So I think it's time that we rise up and show our voice that this is no longer acceptable for our football club. You know, in previous seasons, we've been 17 years without a trophy. We've had countless managers in that time. Enoch and Daniel Levy have shown that they have no idea how to run a successful football club. And you have 25 years of evidence now to show it's not really going to change. So unless we, as a football, you know, as a community, come together and start voicing our opinion that we're not going to accept this anymore, there'll never be any real change. So I urge anyone that's on the fence, come down. It's a friendly atmosphere. You can come down on your own. You can come down with a ticket. You can come with your family, children, whatever. It's a friendly atmosphere and supportive. And one thing that is really clear as well is that Change for Tottenham will never, ever be not about supporting the team. We stand for the reason that we support the team, but not the regime. You know, every single one of us wants to win that Europa League trophy. Every single one of us wants to win all the remaining league games. But what we do not support is our owners.
Go on.
I was going to say, just to add as well, with us, I feel because with our group that what we've done that Change for Tottenham, with us a bit different is we're not forcing anyone to have that opinion either. Everybody is, you know, everyone has their own opinion. We respect that. If you're Levy in, absolutely fine. If you're Levy out, come join us. You know, it doesn't matter. But you know, that the protests I felt with the Man United game is a perfect example with how we had a really good protest, and then right after that we went to the game and we went ahead and got 3 points, and it was just for me it was just like the best outcome. And that's what it is. You know, we're protesting about, you know, we want change, we want a better direction at our club. We want someone that generally cares for the fans. There's all of you guys who have season tickets, you know, how much money you're spending in and out of that club. You know, and if you're not happy about it, come down and join with us, because it's absolutely fine. The atmosphere has been amazing. So yeah, it's not something that we're forcing people to do. It's just if you're just like us and you care about Tottenham and you love it, you love your club, and yeah, that's what we're doing.
I love the fact that you guys have said that it's all inclusive, wherever whatever end you stand on, that you should come down and also as well, like 'cause some Spurs fans, they don't have like other Spurs friends, or they might not feel comfortable going by themselves because they don't have a ticket. You know, there's loads of like non-season ticket holders that might think, oh, I'll look silly, like, you know, Spurs are playing and I want to watch them, and what will I do afterwards? But I just want to add on to that, like, if you don't have a ticket, you can go to the local pubs, the bars, and you can meet other Spurs fans as well. So not only do you have a great day out and march with like-minded people and get to meet other Spurs fans, but also when you go to the bars and the pubs, people are very welcoming, people are very friendly on the Tottenham High Road, and we could all sit down and watch it like together. So I was gonna say though, long term, guys, long term, do you think if you know we do win the Europa, and you guys said that, you know, we want to win it, of course, we're all Spurs fans, does that have an effect on your protest and you know, the way it moves going ahead?
Yeah, I mean, being realistic, you look at this summer and it's going to really show where we stand, because you know we're going to more than likely bring in a new manager. We're probably going to buy a couple of players. We'll probably have a fast start to the season. Ultimately, as Marley knows, we seem to repeat this cycle every single time with the false hope that the next time is going to be different. We're going to get it right, and ultimately the decision falls to the same people. You look at last year's like signings. We brought Kids and Solanke, and it was right under our noses. For me, it's just we got to keep on it. We got to keep the ideas fresh. Obviously, that's why speaking to everybody, international fans, local fans, people that travel. I mean, me and Billy were speaking to an amazing couple who had come all the way down from Cardiff just for the march. It's just one of these things where we've got to keep the pressure on, because ultimately we know what's going to happen, and it's going to be the same conversations in 18 months if it doesn't change.
I think,
And I think
just to jump in. Sorry, Bill. Again, when you talk about what we're doing as a group, again, it's all fans inclusive, 100%. Jay mentioned about the fans from Cardiff. I met a group from Arizona that came over for the protest and to watch the game. Lovely people, but again, felt strongly. They've come all the way from America. You know, it's easy I live 40 minutes from the ground on a train. You know, fans that live abroad, massive commitment to come to just one game, and the cost that would be as well. So, you know, it is all inclusive, and it's every single person counts. And I think Jay, obviously, what he was alluding to there, I think it's really important that if you are kind of lacking confidence, or you're coming on your own, or you haven't got a ticket, please just come and support the cause. Just look at Levy's last statement, what he came out with. You know, can't spend what we haven't got. There's kind of very small. There's no positives to what he was saying. And again, it kind of felt like we might as well stay at White Hart Lane then, because we were told we'd move stadium to compete, and I don't see anything. I don't see any competition from what we're doing in this new stadium. And you get Arteta saying, well, can't wait for the summer. You know, it's going to be a big summer for our club, and other clubs talking in the same thing. Not our club though. Still all about like, oh, we can't spend what we haven't got. We've got to be careful. We've got to do this. We've got to be self-sufficient. It's become tiresome, and for me, it's what needs to change. And don't get me wrong, the Europa League would, like I said, I would absolutely love to. You know, for me, you know, I'll be out there if we get there, and to win it would be a dream. Does it change things? No, because we've done things in the past. When we first got into the Champions League, we thought it would be a massive step for the club, and it wasn't really. Again, we went down the same route. And then we got to the Champions League final. Do we kick on from there? You'd like to think we would, but no, we sacked Poch, and we're now back to square one, really, from when he first came in.
Yeah, and I think there's been plenty of evidence over Levy's tenure that we can get close to being a successful football team or a competing football team at the top level. You know, Pochettino did it, Redknapp kind of did it as well in the Champions League final. But what Levy and Innick have never been able to do is kick on from there and have a consistently successful football club that competes year in, year out. And until we get that, you know, a football club that we can be proud of every season, fighting for the top honours. We play for the top honours, we don't get them. So until we get that, we're not going anywhere.
Last question for myself. I don't know if Manu wants to ask any questions, but I wanted to know: do you envision like your next protest to be the same as the last one, or to be slightly smaller or slightly larger? And is there any like plans that you have, guys, like moving forward, and how you're gonna kind of magnify what you're doing? Because I think you're doing a great thing, a great cause. For all you're basically creating a march and a movement for all Spurs fans to get involved in, and something we could be proud of. And a lot of the times, it's the corporates and governments and these people have a say on the little people. The little people don't have a voice, but what you guys are doing, you're actually creating an environment, a family, extended family where someone's, if they're not happy, we've got somewhere to go now. Before they were talking about the trust. I think it was the trust that they set up, and I'm not sure if people knew about them or if they were representative of the actual Tottenham fan base. I think they were handpicked, so I'm not too sure about these. You guys are ordinary fans coming together and trying to create something unique in our own eyes, because I've heard other fans now, other clubs now, they're trying to do protests off the back of it. They're hearing, Tottenham are doing, so I'm hearing other clubs are doing protests as well. So, like, big up to you lot, what you're doing. But yeah, is there any way you can envision where you can really get this movement to the next level?
I think it's really difficult to predict numbers because, we can promote all we want and come on, we really appreciate coming on channels like this and the support that we get from channels like your guys. But until, people turn up on the day and guarantee that they're going to be there, we can never really predict the numbers, which is why we've got to be relentless with our promotion. But really, we're nothing without, the supporters on the ground. And we implore anyone, if you're sitting on the fence, you're not sure what to do, please come and show numbers, because unless we get consistent numbers, constantly putting pressure on the board, nothing's going to change in this football club. What do you reckon, Jay?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've touched on like that stuff, and you've mentioned the next steps. Obviously, the one thing that we've openly tried to do, and the one thing we will forever stay transparent on, is anything we try to speak to the club about, we share with the fans. We don't want to have it so it seems like we're having this background conversations with the club trying to get ins and outs. Obviously, I'm quite lucky in my role. I speak to the club, I get the banners authorised, I speak to the police. We do this. At no means the club know what our goals are, and that we're not a fan of how they're running the club. Obviously, the next steps for us is possibly looking to be the voice for the fans. These guys that we know, obviously, some of the people who do currently speak for the fans don't have the biggest fan pool, and that could change. We're bringing a guy into the club that's apparently quite big on speaking to fan groups. We want to be the voice of the fans that aren't associated with that. We just really want what's best for the club, and there is going to be more bits coming out that we are planning. There's stuff that obviously we can't necessarily just say yet until we get it confirmed. But ultimately, what we want to do is create that voice for the fans that aren't heard. And unfortunately, at this club, there is so many of them.
And we want to really explore different ways we can put financial pressure on the club as well. A lot of people have been calling us to target events at the stadium. So watch this space, because we do have some plans coming up for that as well. And other ways beyond protesting that we can put pressure on our owners too. And then obviously in the off season, we've got a good few months that we're going to try some new ideas as well. But we're always thinking of ways that we can keep fresh and keep pressure on the owners without necessarily having to protest. So during the summer when we've got no Spurs games, we're still going to be active as well.
Do you guys have like a suggestion box where you can like throw ideas and
I mean, anyone can contact us like through Twitter, Instagram. I mean, yeah, anyone can directly send us their ideas. We're always open on our DMs. So yeah, anybody that has any ideas, do send them over. We reply to as many people, as we can. So yeah, it's always important for, it's not just us, it's the whole fan base. It's all of us here. So yeah, just send it over your ideas through whatever's easier.
Yeah,
our
we do.
socials.
Because we're just season ticket holders, like we don't have any of the sort of the knowledge of the financial knowledge of the targeting a club like Tottenham comes with. So Jay, we've been speaking to people with the expert knowledge, haven't we? Because we're just match going fans like everyone else. So we're really grateful for people that reach out to us. We've got some finance guys reaching out to us with insider information. But Jay, we're always talking to people with that kind of knowledge and that kind of open forum, because at the end of the day, we just want to be a voice for everyone, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we have some great guys who reach out to us. Obviously, everybody's probably seen threads that have been out on X from people like Levinomics. There's people that look into the books. It's hard to gauge where a lot of the club's money is or how it's moved just due to it being an offshore account. So, the one thing we have to be very careful of is we can't just throw information out there if we find bits out unless it's been checked and checked again, because ultimately, we're not here to create a witch hunt. We're here to create the facts. We want to get behind everything. So, like the guys that come forward, obviously, you might even have viewers that might know bits on certain financials. All we ask for is if you've got ideas as well and what we can do, different banners, looking at targeting events. Obviously, Daigle, who everybody knows of, he comes up with these ideas constantly about going to training grounds. I've been there, and it's one of the things we're open to trying everything. So we encourage people to come forward with it. And obviously, the main way of doing it is either through Chris on Instagram, Change for Tottenham. We've got the X, which Change for Tottenham. So just come through, and obviously, me, Dan, Billy, Chris, we're all vocal on X. 9 times out of 10, I'm blowing a head gasket over absolutely nothing. But that's with me. But yeah, just reach out to us, guys. Give us some of the ideas and go through there.
Yeah, I think if I could just jump in as well, just to add about the work that goes on behind the scenes, because again, we're just a group of season ticket holders, a group of fans, and we do this for the love of our club. And the importance for every fan to just turn up is huge, like for the club and for the fans. It's not for us; it's for everybody. Jay constantly getting things signed through from the club with regards to banners and flags. I mean, I won't name everybody because if I miss someone out, it might be. But we've got a mini celebrity Billy here. Everyone greeting him at games. He's well loved and well liked, and he's great to have part of the team. And he's always up for meeting new faces. And so anybody like that might not have the confidence to attend, these protests, please come along, because, like I say, we're all just normal Spurs fans, and we'd love to have you there and have a beer or a chat with you guys, and anybody who feels that they're not too sure if they want to come along, please just get that confidence and come along and join us and support it for our club.
Any other things you want to talk about, Marlon?
Oh yeah, I thought I was on mute then. So obviously you guys have spoken about the owners, and big thing recently is that Scott Munn looks like he's going to be leaving his position at the end of the season. Is this part of the problems that we are facing as a football club, where the off-the-pitch scenario is causing such a massive issue that it's starting to impact what's going on the pitch as well now?
Business
I think
people hiring business. Oh, sorry.
I think a bigger issue is there's no accountability from those at the top. So Scott Munn will just be the next fall guy that they'll blame. They'll get someone else with a new title. They'll sack him in a couple of years' time. We keep going round and round in the circle. But Jay, you were saying, I forget the name of the other guy at the very top level. You got Daniel Levy, Don O'Connor. What's the other geezer's name, Jay?
Matthew Colcott.
Matthew Colcott, yeah.
And until there's change at that level, nothing's really going to change. Scott Munn is just the latest in the line of people. We've had Paratici, with Baldini,
that's what I thought. When he first came in, he was meant to be the guy to push Levy back. That's what we were told. We were sold that. We've got another layer, and he's going to be, talking about the football. And I heard it with Paratici. When Paratici came in, he was going to push Levy back, and he was going to get less involved. And Paratici's going to be like running the football side of things. And then now we've got the Arsenal ex-CEO coming in, and we're told the same story where he's going to be able to navigate the sale, I think, of the club. Well, not the sale, but in terms of like getting investment from other clubs, he's going to be the one trying to, navigate that ship and trying to attract more interest in that direction. So again, Levy's going to take a back step, and this guy's going to be there. But it's always that same narrative, same. I'm like, I don't know about you guys, but I got trust, man. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if I believe them, man. I think liar, man.
I don't believe it, because this is like the 5th, 6th guy in the last few years. It's going to be the same.
It's business people hiring business people. You're talking. We're not bringing in guys with the footballing knowledge or with the desire to be. You look at Arsenal, for example. they ship out when they're not winning on the field. And do you know what? That come from their fans standing up and protesting. And I hate to say it, they protested well. They really kicked up the numbers. And from that point, the whole football club dynamic changed. They looked at who was in control of it. But unfortunately, whilst we've got a power-hungry owner, well, I say owner, majority shareholder, I just feel every single person that he pulls in is just going to be another meat shield for him to lay down in front of him and take the fire for it. And this is why we've just got to keep the pressure on Levy regardless.
So the role that the Vinay guy is going to have is like similar to what Scott Munn had in terms of like global control in terms of marketing and branding. He's a PR kind of guy. He's going to be able to like, you know, try to expand Spurs globally a little bit more. So he did that with Arsenal. I think when he was there, he doubled their profits or their revenues twice fold or something. Like it was from 300 million and went to 600 million. So all like footballing operations and non-footballing operations he'll be ahead of. Do you know what I mean? But still, we're gonna have. I don't know what you lot think about this whole Paratici slash Langer dynamic. Where do you lot sit on that? Are you like Langer in, Langer out? Because apparently, like Marlon said, everyone's getting looked at. You know what I'm saying? The guns. He's putting the gun everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So, like, do you think Langer should lose his job as well as Munn and Ange, or and Paratici should run the show, or do you think Langer should remain in control and he should be the one that's picking our manager? Because that's what your director of football is there for.
I'm not trusting Lang to pick the next manager. I'm not trusting him to do that. Don't get me wrong. You can look at who he's brought in. He seems to have a great talent for youth products. There's no fault in him. Lucas Bergvall looks like steal of the bloody century. But then you look at it and you go, can Paratici and Lang work together? I don't think so. I think there's always going to be the power play. Who's more important there? But then you look at it and you've got to be realistic. Johan Lange come out and give arguably the worst transfer breakdown known to man. It was just 5 minutes of pure waffle. But then you look at Paratici, he was so hit and miss. Yeah, he struck gold with Kulu. You can argue pre-injury Bentancur was good. It just feels like this whole club needs the factory reset button put on it. And that's everybody from Ryan Mason to Cozy, just all of them. Yeah.
And I think the thing is, right, so we were told that Langer will be taking over transfers, but then when the Tell story came out, we've heard that Kinski, Daniel Levy flew out to Croatia and all this. He's still involved at the top level of transfers. This guy has been told to step back by numerous other people, but it's not happening. And until Daniel Levy completely steps back, nothing's ever really going to change. It doesn't really matter who the next football director is. Because at the end of the day, it's Levy the one that's signing off the checks. And until that changes, nothing changes.
I think everybody knows that, and that goes for all other Premier League clubs. Whatever business is going on with Tottenham, Levy's always the one that is making that decision. I think it's just, I just think that's why the club itself is just so toxic the way it's run, and whatever it's just that's why I feel when players come in, the mentality is just so poor, because to get that goal and to get that win, there's always just something going on in the background of Tottenham where it's just completely taken away the whole purpose of winning, and the whole goal of getting a trophy at Tottenham. It just seems to be pulled to the sides. I just think the whole club itself is just run so poorly, and that's why we're so desperate for change. It's just I'm not happy with it, and neither are we.
Talking about change, there's been a rumor. I don't know if we spoke about it, Marlon.
MMs.
No, I was gonna say Scott
Parker.
Anyone for
let Christina go first because she has to go. But let's talk about the manager situation.
Oh God!
Want to see Scotty Parker back in next year?
Oh my God! If he wants to get his kit on, he could happily join the squad. But managing, absolutely not. What is? I thought that was a joke, but I don't even know if it is anymore. Now I'm getting actually quite nervous of the fact that if that is what we're suggesting. And that is literally, if that is the case, that is Levy all over. No, absolutely not. Can you imagine if that is it? I to be honest, I'd rather have Mason if that's the case. I
Is
really
it
would.
that bad? Because we know, like, people were like hating. Newcastle fans were hating when Eddie Howe got done. Like, he was an ex-Bournemouth manager, got them relegated. Same with Scott Parker. He was at Fulham. They got relegated. You know what I mean? But then he's obviously brought them back up.
Yeah,
Obviously,
but Scott
Howe.
Parker, it suits him for Championship. But at least Ryan Mason's got more experience in the Premier League. Like, I don't understand it. I think it's an absolute joke. He's
He's
obviously getting a
bringing Burnley,
bargain out of it.
bringing Burnley back, isn't it? I'm not saying I want him, but I'm just saying, like, he's brought Burnley back. He's
15 goals conceded.
I mean, if we get relegated next season, then maybe we can bring him in.
worked with Matty Wells as well, so I don't know. And apparently, he was loved around academy. Academy people loved him, saying that he was a really good character in the dressing room, music stuff. He's got his badges, Jay. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's one of these things like we've fished in the big pond for years. You look at the managers we've brought in, it ain't worked. We've fished in arguably the bins and brought another manager in because the standard of managing as a whole, mate, is you look at the standard, yeah, of the management that we bring in, and it's heinous.
People fishing in a bin, Jay.
Yeah. It's one of these things like we need to be realistic on where we're going to go with a manager. And unfortunately, like it or not, Scott Parker's probably going to be one of the names on the list. I've grown to the idea of Thomas Frank, but then again,
me too, man. That's what I want.
you look at where he is at the moment with Brentford. He's getting what he asked for in the transfer windows. He's got the team that he wants. You look at Iriola, you go back 8 weeks ago, the guy was refusing to speak to Bournemouth at the possibility of coming to us. And last week, he's basically gone around and gone, do you know what? I'll probably take a pay cut to stay here. It's going to be, I think we're in for a proper tough summer. And being honest, we're going to see every single name linked with us that we don't like. I see Jose Mourinho's name floating about a few days ago. In the summer.
Final, hire him for the final.
Yeah, give him his final back.
But yeah, that's what I mean. Like, Scott Parker is, you can't fault what he's done, but when he was at Fulham, he was shocking. Like, there's a reason they got rid of him. But yeah, I think being realistic, where we need to be looking at Thomas Frank. Marco Silva's name's going to be in there. If not, Vincenzo Italiano from Bologna is a name that I really, really want.
But just going back to that Scott Parker, wasn't he at Bournemouth?
Let's say back to Christina.
Oh yeah, that's all right.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks, guys. I don't know how I'm even meant. How do I even get off this? I don't.
Right, just stay in it, you know.
All right, I'll just try.
Yeah, no, I was saying, like, Scott Parker, was he at Bournemouth? I swear he was at Bournemouth.
Yeah, he was a boy. He's the one who got smashed, didn't he, by Liverpool? Was it 8-9?
8-0, and they got rid of him on Sharpie.
Wasn't he calling out the board or something? I swear he was calling out the board.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you guys like that? Like a manager that comes out and he's like, he's not a yes man, he tells it as it is.
He
got Fulham promoted though, didn't he, from the Championship? And then he's doing. I mean, he's done a great job at Burnley, to be fair, and they look solid.
Getting us promoted in a couple of years' time.
Yeah, but the one thing I would say as well, like obviously with Poch, for example, we got him from Southampton, but he got relegated at Espanyol.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying.
Yeah, Scott Parker's Scott Parker, isn't
it? It's. I mean, Jose Mourinho's Jose Mourinho. Antonio.
Do you remember a couple seasons ago we were linked with Nagelsmann and Luis Enrique, and now we're getting linked with Scott Parker. You know what I mean? What happened?
Really, this is the whole point of change for Tottenham, isn't it?
Yeah, this is set up brilliantly. This is why we're here. We're going to come with flags with Parker out. He ain't signed. Parker out.
Crazy, like we've gone from Nuno to like Conte, and then from Conte we've got obviously Postecoglou in it, And
Most
now,
bipolar scale you're ever going to look at. It's like,
yeah, it's
There's no theory behind it. And the managers
strategies.
that we're linked with, they're not the same. None of them play the same style of football at all. They're just random names. There's
Yeah,
no
it's
plan.
like, yeah, I just don't know what we're like. Even like Thomas Frank, I said to Marlon, I was saying like, he said, "I will never get Thomas Frank," but I said it depends if Langer's there, because Langer is obviously best buddies with Thomas Frank, innit? The man speak outside of like football link up,
yeah,
you know. So that I could see that one.
Hold on, if they're good friends, he ain't coming Spurs. He's told him straight up what's happening.
So I
but
could,
nah, I tell you what, I'll send you the video. Yeah, I watched a breakdown. There's a clip of how he analyzes every game after. He doesn't do it where he pulls people in. He sits down with his tactical team first. He breaks down what he got wrong as a manager, where he thinks he should have changed the game,
do Thomas.
and then it's how he speaks to his players. Like I've always said, I'm one for a manager showing a bit of passion on the sideline. Like your players ain't doing their job, call them over, have the word with them. They're still not doing it, drag them. You look at Ange, and he's just a chill guy, and he just stands there on the side of the pitch, hands in pockets, staring at the floor. But then you look back, Frankfurt, they got an injury, and he called Bergvall over and said, "Change up your game. What you doing?" And it's like we're crying out for a manager that's going to show that bit of charisma. And I think since we lost against Chelsea last year, Ange has been in a battle with himself and the media. And truthfully, his ego is Jose Mourinho, and reality, he's League One at best.
Well, like we said earlier, apparently, like even if he wins Europa, his job is gone. So I reckon he knows that, because there's no way these rumors are flying around and there's not a little bit of truth. I
It
think,
usually, yeah.
yeah, usually there's some truth to it. I think he may know himself that he's not going to be in a job at the end of the season, regardless of what he does. But I just thought it would be interesting if he started calling out. I know he's not that type of guy, innit? He's more of I'd say a yes man, because he's not gonna like, call the board out and say, look, I wanted that, I don't know, I wanted Bremo. Like, he's not gonna say that. Or yeah, I wanted this player. I think he's gonna just quietly go about his things, because he's got his principles. He's a man of his word. He's an old school kind of guy. Do you know what I mean? And if
He's
he's
going to want to collect that paycheck as well.
yeah, and also like I think he's so yeah, like he said, he might not leave early, because some people say, why isn't he walking then? But I think he might want his severance pay or
Yeah.
see out his contract. So he's gonna keep to that agreement and make sure he gets paid out. If he leaves early, then he can't get that paycheck, in my opinion. So, but it'll be interesting to see because I think the players are only playing for the cup, which means they're not really playing for him. They're playing because they want to win a cup, and it's for their own personal gain, if that makes sense. Because the league form and the cup form are night and day, in my opinion. They're two different. Even though, like we spoke about, the domination we're having and the chances we're creating, that little 5 or 10% that I'm talking about, when we're seeing Romero almost getting sent off and he's just doing reckless things, and like Mickey van der Ven's going to sleep, like I said, for that goal. And, there's certain defensive frailties where I'm like, in a game, like a one-off game, these guys ain't doing that. They're sharp. They're on it. Do you know what I'm saying? So I honestly think that, yeah, Ange is a dead man walking, in my opinion. I don't know what you
He's hanging himself with his own noose as well. His comments that he's coming out, he's 1 minute he's jibing at the fans, then he's going to play at slight specific players. Then 1 week he's saying, "Oh yeah, we've got this wrong," and then it's, "Oh, they're not switched on, or they're not focusing." And the thing is, like, there's part of me that feels sorry for him, because at the end of the day, he clearly got a job off the back of the credentials that Scott Munn's recommended him. He's come in, he's had that 10-game amazing start, and you look at the results, they weren't great. Like, they were wins, but they weren't great, and obviously 3 points is what counts. It doesn't matter if it was a good or an ugly win. But I think for me, he knows he's out. He knows that he can't go calling out the owners or anything like that, because ultimately the biggest payday he's ever going to get is at Spurs. Come the summer, they might agree a severance package or whatever, but for me, the sooner he's gone, the better.
Would you not think? You don't agree with that?
For me, if you're not going to get rid of him, I would have got rid of him after the Everton game, the 3-2 when we're 3-0 at half time. That was a game for me where I was like, this man doesn't know what he's doing. And he actually came out and said it himself, didn't he? That his tactics were all wrong, which was a concern. You'd think he'd know by now what he's doing. But look, I think we're in a Europa League semi-final. I'm going to support him through that competition. The league, although it's painful to watch, I look at the Forest game, and again, I would say we're too easy to play against, but I would put those 2 goals down to our goalkeeper, personally, rather than anything else, because I think that the keeper has got off lightly. No one's really talking about that. But he was, should have saved the first one, and I don't know what he's doing for the second one. He might as well have me in goal. But that's just, again, that's just my thought process on it. But he has lost too many games as a manager, and you can't lose this game that many games. And no matter what we say, because everyone talks about quality of the league and different leagues, and you've got some top players. This is the Premier League. It's unforgiving. No place is easy to go. I don't think you go to any ground in the Premier League and think you're going to get 3 points. You just know it's going to be a tough game.
Apart from Spurs ground.
Yeah, apart from us. No, but I think it's been an eye opener for him. I think as well as us. I think he's caught a cold. He sticks to his principles, which is admirable. But you have to adapt to this league, and if you don't, you get eaten up. And I think that's what's happened. And 18 league defeats, 18, it is just totally unacceptable. But we are where we are. Let's get to European finals where we all want to be, and we've got a one-off chance to have an amazing finish to a season. So I'm going to stick with him until then, because there's no point in doing anything now. But then again, I would say if we do win it, fingers crossed we do, I would still part ways.
Billy, do you think? Do you agree with this narrative? Do you think that it's the club that are going to announce that, because they've already come out and said it. They kind of said, it wasn't the club that said it, but obviously the rumor is that even if he wins the cup, they're going to sack him. But then some fans are saying, nah, if he wins the cup, will he walk? Which way do you look at it? Do you think he wins the cup and he walks, or he wins the cup and the club saying, thanks for your time, and it's a mutual kind of,
I think exactly that, man. I think it'll be somewhere in the middle, mutual consent. They'll pay him his bonus, because let's be real, if he wins this Europa League, he deserves that 5 million or whatever it is, that bonus. Walks off into the sunset, mutual agreement, didn't get sacked, didn't resign, just mutual agreement. Everyone's happy, and I think that would be the best thing for our club, to be honest.
Do you think fans flip-flop, though? Do you think fans, all of a sudden,
we all do, man.
And there's a bunch of fans, they're like, no, you can't sack him. He's going to do it. Because remember, when it was, when we played Frankfurt, no one thought we were going to win. We win against Frankfurt, and I kid you not, when I was turned on YouTube, I think we're going to win the cup. I think we're going to do it. And I was hearing a couple of Ange-inners come back like, yo, Ange is the man, this, that, and the other. We play Forest, and then boom, we lose, and then the mood's changed again. So I'm not putting it past fan base, and the fan base is turning all of a sudden and saying, no, we can't sack our most successful manager. You could just hear it now and talk sport.
We're emotionally damaged as a fan base. That's why, man. We're traumatized. We'll take anything. If we win a trophy, there's so much trauma there that I think you'll get fans to flip flop. But I think a sensible football decision would be for him to win that trophy and then bounce. That would be the best thing going forward.
Hit the nail on the head as well. I think it comes down to what the board see it, because they're looking at it from a business sense. From what I'm seeing, the Forest game, it wasn't sold out affair. And if there's not bombs on seats, and they're not selling drinks, they're not selling merch like they normally do on their match days, then I think that's when they start looking at the manager and say, look, this can't go on. Do you know what I mean? Long term, because we could keep this guy, give him a summer. And also, do they trust him? Do they trust to give him a summer window? Do you know what I mean? And Marlon said it already. They came out, and I think one of you guys said it as well. They came out already, said, look, we can only buy what we sell, or we can only, get in what we get out, if that makes sense. We can't just pull money out of nowhere. So that was them saying, look, the purse strings are tied up, and the manager might not get what he wants, and that might not be Ange. So that's how I looked at it anyway.
Yeah, and compare that to what Slot and Arteta have said, man. It's going to be a long summer, I think.
Exactly. But one more question I wanted to ask real quick is about this whole Maddison thing, because everyone's like, not everyone, but a lot of the fan base is still like, sell him, get rid of him. He's not good enough. And some people are like, yeah, no, keep Maddison. Does anyone think that Maddison should have played on the weekend? Do people think that he should be sold? He's not good enough, or do we need to kind of build around these type of players?
I don't think there's any way Maddison should have even touched the pitch on Sunday. After what happened Thursday, I fully agree with him. Obviously, I'd rather have him for the next leg of the semi-final over risking him. The way he folded, I've seen deck chairs fold with less ease than what he went down. It was brutal. Do I think he should be sold? No. And I think the treatment that he's had from Ange has been pretty poor. Obviously, 1 week he's playing, then he's sat on the bench, then he's playing, then he's sat on the bench. You're talking a premium player that we've called out for since Eriksen left, who unfortunately hasn't had a string of games to get his confidence. When he has had his confidence, he's looked amazing. I think he's still managed 13 goals and assists this season. So you can see that he's there. But again, for me, it completely comes down to a new manager can get a lot better out of the squad. I mean, this isn't a 17th or 16th place squad, and you can say the same about United. I think what this goes down to is a freak season. And Maddison next year, if he's getting that freedom with somebody like Bergvall playing next to him and having the confidence being able to play off each other, I think we're going to see a different player. So for me, it's a keep 100%. And certainly, I don't think he should have played Sunday.
So you think Maddison's underperforming, but I'm trying to figure out why is Maddison underperforming. You're saying it's because he's not getting enough rhythm. He's not having enough spot. We've seen in the past, like last season, when we played him too much, he ends up getting injured. Do you know what I mean? So, do you think they got it right by maybe not playing him every game, or do you disagree and think, you know what? Maddison, because for me personally, I'll just quickly talk on it. I think there's certain times he's playing, and I'm like they're hooking him off too quickly, and he's our only creative outlet. Do you know what I'm saying? I think Decky's slightly different to Maddison the way he is. First of all, Decky's on the right, Maddison's on the left, and I saw like against Forest, Sarr was playing as a left 8, and I'm like, why?
I mean, if I jump in there, I mean, for me, Maddison's top player, and I don't think he's underperformed. I think he's just played in a side that has underperformed. I think, again, you look at the front three, and I think, Ash, you said it as well, how poor they've been. Like, movement. I mean, I watched the game against Forest. Everyone else, we are so static when we get the ball. I think I see Romero went on, and there's just no movement. You got players like Maddison. They need movement beyond them for him to find those passes and be the player he is. I think he's had, I think somebody mentioned it, but I think he's had 10 assists this season and 11 goals in a team that's 16th. 16th/17th. So that for me is not a bad return from a team that's been in disarray and constantly slated every week. No way should he even be considered to be sold. And you need to build teams around players like him. It's just that we've had an unfortunate injury list, and then we've got, unfortunately, a manager that probably isn't good enough at this moment for that level. To be putting out Maddison, definitely not. I think he's actually stepped up this year. If anybody has, I think the one that's really disappointing this season has probably been Son. But I don't like having a go at Son. He's been unbelievable for us, and but yeah, this season's been a real struggle for him. Whether that's the tactics, the system, I don't know. But no, Maddison, top player, definitely build a team around him, and that will be, for me, someone that if there's a new manager, I'm pretty sure they'll be doing that.
Billy, do you feel like we need to do that then? Like what guards are saying, that we need to build a squad around individuals, or do you prefer a manager to have his own system, like how Ange had his system? You know what I'm saying? You got Arteta, he's got a system. Pep's got his system. Do you think we need more of a better system, a better strategy, a better formation tactically? Or do you think you build around those individuals and say, let's just get it to Maddison and or get it to Kulu? Those are our best players, and add one or two players that are going to help, get the best out of those players?
I think, do you know what? It'd be quite nice to have a manager like Thomas Frank who can change it up a little bit and doesn't necessarily have a particular system, but knows how to get the most out of players. Because I think at the stage that we're at, there are so many more problems than James Maddison. Like I think we've got real problems in the forward line, in the front three in particular. I think we've got a lot of players there, but I don't know how much quality there is. We've got about 6 or 7 wingers, if you count Werner, Johnson, Son, Tell. There's a lot of bodies there. But if we're going to be playing 1 game a week next season, the front three is the biggest problem for me. So I hope we get a manager that is able to find a system that he can adapt and build around players because I do actually believe in the centre of the park we've got some decent quality there, like Bergvall, Madison, and Bentancur. I think under the right manager, that's a pretty good baseline to work with. And I think James Maddison offers us something which so many of our players can't. We don't have that creativity, and we don't have that player who can go and score a goal from out of nothing. So I hope we get a manager that can get the best out of James Maddison and work with our individuals. But I would like to see now, after having a manager like Ange and maybe Conte going back, these managers are really wed to one system. I'd maybe like, a manager that might change it depending on the opposition, like Thomas Frank often does.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me, man. You gonna say anything on that, Marlon? Any thoughts on that?
No, just kind of the same boat as everyone else. Not really much to add on it at the moment.
No, I hear it, man. I just wanted to ask as well, just the last piece as well on this one. But the next 5 games, how many points do you not think we can get out of that? So,
You know what? A few years ago, right? A few years ago, West Ham got relegated on 42 points. I don't think we're going to get to 42 points, I'll be honest. We need 5 points to do that. I think we're going 3 points max.
Who's the 3 points coming against, Billy?
Palace at home, I think that'll be our only win. And even they're pretty decent, but I just fancy. I think we'll win one. We'll win 1 match this season. That'll be it.
What do you lot think, man? Guards?
I'm going 6 points. I think we'll beat Palace and Brighton.
You think we'll beat Brighton, yeah?
I just think Brighton will be a team that they open up. I think Palace will be harder game than Brighton. I think Palace like to play open, progressive football. I think that might work in our favour. Potentially last game of the season, try and put a little bit of a show on for the fans. I just think that might work in our favour, but we'll get nothing from the away games.
No chance.
Do you know what? I'm just going to say this. We're going to beat Palace, right? Because protest against United, protest against Southampton, protest against
We're
guaranteed 3 points.
Every game next season, coming away, every game.
Yeah, we're just going to have to do this every game now. Jay?
I'm going to go brave. I'm going to say 7. I really think we'll get 7 points. And obviously, somebody's just put in Spurs diehards just made a valid point. Both of these are deep in cup competitions. So there's a solid chance we'll see rotation or a bit of fatigue. But then again, you got to look at, we're obviously still in the semi-final. And for me, if somebody said to me, get to the final, but lose the remaining games, there's nothing to play for in the league for us. It's one of these things. We could either gain 7 points, or we could win absolutely none of them. And the issue is, it's what Spurs turn up. I get a feeling we're going to get bent over on Sunday versus Liverpool. The polite way to put it.
No, we'll probably turn up. I've got this strange feeling we might actually turn up for once.
Well, no, because I'm looking forward to Billy's thread on Arsenal fans every single day saying we've handed Liverpool the league.
I'm going to be celebrating.
But yeah, no, it's. I want to believe we could get like at least 7 points. At the same time, it's hard to see us picking up points against any of these teams if we turn up how we do turn up. But yeah, ultimately, the big one for me and the main thing I care about at this moment in time is going to be Bodo.
If we get 7 points, we'll end up 13th. That's where we'll finish. We'll finish 13th because the teams above us, I think, is it Brentford or Palace? One of them teams, they're on 44 points. But Jay, who's the points? Who are we getting those points from? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
I see us getting points. I see us getting at least a draw against Villa. I get a feeling they're massively going to prioritise the cup run. I think Man City are finishing the season far too strong. Actually, I'm wrong because 5th gets Champions League, doesn't it now?
Fifth gets it.
Well, that changes that dynamic. So now, let me drop that to 4.
And Villa need it more than the cup. Villa need the Champions League.
They're done for PSL if they don't get Champions League.
Now, I'm seeing a win against Palace, and I'm going to say a draw against Brighton at home.
So what? 4 points?
4 points.
You're missing
No,
3, Jay.
yeah. I'm being pessimistic.
He thinks we're beating West Ham. Watch.
No, we're not.
We're both shit, but if we lose to Graham Potter, then Ange needs to be sacked on the spot. I think I've said that about 12 other games this season as well, and we've lost them. So, yeah.
What was the thing that Kulu said, Marlon, in his comments? He said something today as well. He called the board out again, didn't he?
Has he called the ball out again? Oh, mate, everyone's calling out. Everyone wants to leave.
He called out the team. He said they keep conceding the same goal from crosses. And then he said something like, we need to look at this, it's the same thing over and over again. He did kind of call out the board, but he called out the team as well. And he also said about the injuries as well. He said there's a reason for all them injuries, is what he said.
So what do you reckon he's looking to move then, if we don't get like...
Everyone's going to move at this rate, man. We're going to have no players left. Everyone's
So fire sale.
Call out Daniel Levy, you'll get sold, mate. So it's all good.
Yeah, that's crazy. But I'm surprised that there's not been more about that, because isn't he surplus to a fine for talking out of line? I don't know how it works.
Yeah, he got a fine from the club, didn't he? Because of the last time they held an internal review into what he said, and but that's what I mean. It's a dictatorship at this club, and the issue is you call out the root problem. Ultimately, you get forced to apologise. Romero forced to apologise. Kulu, Son made a comment. I mean, this season we've visibly seen James Maddison and Son questioning Ange on the sidelines, and he got played down as something else. It was obvious what it was. Ultimately, I think every fan wants to see is a player. Do you know what? If Romero wants to do one thing for this football club other than win the Europa League final, go out with a bang and say, do you know what? The reason I've left is because the ownership don't care about the football. Yeah. Bang. I'll tell you what, people will hold bad blood against him now. He goes out and says that you'll get the odd few that will force
statue.
I'm saying statue, man.
Yeah, he's forcing the narrative for the move. But ultimately, if he goes out and says, do you know what? I said it earlier in the season, I've said it again. The issue at the club isn't starting at football club level. It goes all the way out through the club. It's rotten to the core.
Yeah, that'd be crazy, man. Boy, you never know, man.
So, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. Sorry, I was a little bit late. I'll see you, Marlon. I'll see you on the school run tomorrow. Yeah?
It's funny because our girls were walking in together this morning. I was I'm going to see Dad later. But Billy, let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, Billy T on Twitter, and just on Change for Tottenham, Change for Spurs, at Change for Spurs as well. Get involved, send us a message, any ideas, we're always happy. But I just want to say thank you so much for having us, man. It's been a real pleasure.
Big up, man. Love for coming on.
Guards, where can people find you on the socials?
On socials, Guards44. I was on Twitter quite a while ago, but I'm back on it now. Quite a small following, so if you want to follow me, feel free to. Not like Billy, who's a mini celebrity, but
that's why you had to bounce.
Exactly that. But yeah, as Bill said, Change for Spurs as well. Please follow, put your suggestions in, and also, like I say, next protest. Please be there if you can be, or if you're even worried, message one of us, or drop us a line if you're coming alone or you're not sure where people are going to be and you're lacking confidence or whatever. If you're not sure if you can turn up, then just drop us a message and we'd love to have you there.
Jay.
Find me through X. I dare say a lot of people see my head loss so frequently. Twitter fingers.
Yeah, we see it in the group. Don't worry.
Twitter fingers. I mean well, but yeah, ultimately, as the boys have said, the main thing to be run up is the Change for Tottenham, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We've got people working behind the scenes on everything. I think every single person involved, as we said earlier, there's about 9-10 of us, so I don't want to forget names, but we're all working hard constantly. So yeah, if I can ask anybody to do anything, obviously for this game, I'm not even going into the ground. I've been offered a ticket and I just don't want to do it. Just for my own well-being. I'm bored of being in a game and just feeling so disconnected. So yeah, if people aren't going into the game, I'm going to be in the coach and horses. So feel free to come up and speak to me then if you don't have the confidence before. But yeah, once again, just want to thank Ash, Marlon, Billy, Dan, Chris, MMs, just for everything and being able to help push this message, because to everybody, we just want this club to be a club that we want to be doing everything we can to go and watch at the weekends. And at the moment, I'm eyeing up on what I'm filmed for this weekend.
Last thing, guys, just before you go quickly, I just want to mention about the charity as well, because that's been mentioned, isn't it, guys? About donations. That will be coming out at some point in the coming days. We've got the figures on that, so that'll be done. And obviously, a shout out to Roots, to be fair. I think he was a big part behind the flags and setting that all up, so well done to him. And, like I say, we can't mention everybody, because if we do forget someone, yeah, we don't want to do that. But yeah, we've got a great team of people behind us that all work behind the scenes, from X to Instagram and putting stuff together. And Billy, like I say, being on pods, and Jay with his connections to the club and so forth. So and thanks to everybody that gets involved, and for you guys for having us on as well. It's much appreciated.
Oh, thank you all. Thank you for all coming on. Ash, tomorrow, what's going on?
Yeah, same old, just a different day. You know how it goes, man. Rivals be rivaling. So yeah, we're gonna have a show about obviously we'll be reacting to the Arsenal game. And yeah, man, Liverpool fans will be there, man, trying to taunt us about doing it at our ground. But listen, I don't know how you lot feel, but I ain't gonna say it, but
you'll never walk alone. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that, man. But please make sure, guys, as well, you are liking and you're sharing and subscribing. For us to be to get seen out there, man, in the algorithm world.
Yeah, I've got a Thursday show this week because my Monday show was cancelled due to Spurs. So I've got a Monday show. We're going to be looking at the VAR stuff, especially after tonight's penalty or non-penalty. But we'll be looking at that on Thursday as well. So please come over on Thursday. But look, thanks to everyone especially Christina, who was on earlier as well. Thanks to everyone for Change for Spurs, to Billy, to Gars, to Jay, and to everyone behind the movement. Look, I'll be there at this one. I'm definitely coming. I've put it in the diary, so I'll be there. But yeah, please make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.